Breaking Down the Law is sponsored by Battle Board Injury Lawyers.
While the election results are still being litigated, there are several ballot questions that passed here in Nevada, including question 6, which has to do with the state's energy, mandating that it come from renewable sources by the year 2030. A law mandating these same requirements had already passed during the last legislative session, and it was signed into law by the governor. So what does that mean for our state and then for us? Here's attorney Matt Hoffmann with Battle Board Injury Lawyers to talk about this new law. Matt, hi, thanks for being here as always. This is one that passed, but it certainly could impact a lot of us.
Yeah, and the big question that people have is, why did we need a constitutional amendment if it's already a law?
Right.
So the answer to that, for the supporters of this, is that laws can change, and they can change from session to session. And their concern was long-term, they want to get 50% of Nevada's energy from renewable sources by the year 2030. So this constitutional amendment passed the last election, and now it has passed again. And that is the legal requirement for a constitutional amendment in Nevada. It has to pass from the public twice. So it's done so now it can become law. So what it does is it means that this must happen by 2030 because it's so hard to peel back a constitutional amendment versus a regular bill.
So it essentially is cementing the idea that had already been approved.
Exactly. And so that's why the proponents of this wanted it as a constitutional amendment, so that with the political swings, that it couldn't just be taken off the books.
So as far as, okay, so now it is what it is. It's here. It's going to be put into the Constitution. What do we see as a potential benefit or drawback to something like this when we are adding it to our Constitution? Yeah,
so like any law, it's a constitutional amendment, but like anything, it has a goal. And the goal in and of itself is great. In Nevada, a lot of people don't know, we rank near the bottom of the 50 states for creating our own energy. Even with Hoover Dam, only 1/10 of the energy used in our state is actually created in our state. And so the idea is, look, we've got lots and lots of vacant, empty land in our state. Right. We've got sunshine, we've got wind. Let's do something to force, the energy community to start creating more renewable sources, which is great. The drawback is, the timing couldn't be worse. Let's just face it. We're in the middle of a huge budget crisis. So with COVID, with lockdowns, with the lack of tax revenue, I don't know where the money's going to come from to build these projects. Absent Congress passing some kind of infrastructure bill that would provide money for those kind of things, and that might happen. I don't know how these large solar projects, wind projects are going to be built. And the concern there is that, look, come 2030, it's 9-10 years from now, but let's say 9 years from now, we're not even close, that we're not close to the 50%. Well, what that means is we do what we currently do, which is we're buying energy from other states. They buy nuclear energy, natural gas energy, coal energy, and renewable energy. Well, by 2030, half of the energy we buy is now going to have to come from a limited pool of types of energy. And from that, they really have us over a barrel. And the concern would be they squeeze us and we pay more. And if we pay more, and we being Nevada Power, the powers that be, if they pay more, we as consumers pay more. And right now, with unemployment, with foreclosures on the horizon, evictions, I think people are probably a little bit more concerned with having electricity, not where it's coming from. So the timing is a little poor on this, but the goal is obviously aspirational.
Right. So certainly the challenges all come to financial challenges, but having something cemented in our Constitution means that there's no wiggle room down the road. Matt, breaking it down as we move forward after this long election cycle, thank you again for your expert advice and something that I think all eyes are going to be on as we move down this path, like you said, 9-10 years from now.